Let's move on to the fourth sutra of the Samadhi path of the Yoga Darshan. Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. Translation: in other instances, the soul forgets its essential divine nature and identifies itself with the mental states. So when the mind is not under control, then the mind starts controlling. This mind is a factory of thoughts. It generates thoughts. Now thoughts come to you. You sometimes wonder, where are these thoughts coming from? If you think about thoughts, it's very interesting. In neurology, there's a raging debate about the nature of thoughts and their origin. The reductionist viewpoint is that they are just neurochemical reactions. But then they could as well be replicated by a machine. A machine does not have awareness, it does not have values. Today itself I was hearing a TED talk. Does AI really know what it's doing? It creates the illusion that it knows. But it's just an algorithm. It doesn't know. It's giving you the answers you need without knowing what it's doing. So these thoughts are not just neurochemical reactions, they are metaphysical energy. And they are generated by the mind, which is using the brain to think. Like the software of a computer uses the hardware. Now when thoughts come to you, they generate emotions. Ramesh is constantly looking at me. Ramesh likes me, Ramesh dislikes me, etc., etc. So these emotions, when they continue, they become feelings. They evoke memories. That day Ramesh did this to me. The memories bring further thoughts that result in more emotions and more feelings that draw more memories. And this goes on and on and on. Now the problem with thoughts is that they seem to happen to us. If you were at the dining table and you had no control about what came into your mouth, the pickles or the chilies or the salt, what a daft situation it would become. But with thoughts, that is the experience of a common person, that these thoughts are happening to me. Now imagine you control your hand, and the hand, you instruct it, take the comb and put it here. Take the water, place it to the lips. And if the hand started working on its own and put the comb in the mouth and the water on the head, you would be tyrannized. But that is what the thoughts are doing. And in this whole process, firstly, the thoughts are happening to us, and secondly, we are connecting thoughts with the outside. So when we are creating emotions, we are holding other people responsible for it. You are responsible for my bad mood. You have put me in this uninspired situation, which means we are relinquishing control over our thoughts. It's not my responsibility. Why don't you think better? They have to change their behavior. It's not my problem. So now others are responsible for getting me in a bad mood, and they need to change so that my mood changes. This is the victim victim mentality. One husband came home from the office. His wife was a homemaker and she had such a wonderful nature. But the husband had a terrible anger. Is there any wife here whose husband has a bad anger? You can identify. So she knew that when he comes back, he is not at 110 volts, he is at 220 or 440. Everything must be all right. Just to pacify, she made his favorite dish and said, "Dear, I've made this item for you. Come sit and have." But he had built up all the anger. So he needed somebody to vent it out, and she's a soft punching bag. So he said, "But I did not want it." "But it's your favorite. But before making it, you should have WhatsApped me and got the answer whether I want it or I don't want it." And now he got the trigger and he kept on venting. In the meantime, the bell rang. He went to the door and the delivery man had come. So the delivery man looked and said, "Oh, sorry, I have come to the wrong house." So he said, "Never mind, you take care." And the wife said, "Acha, he made a mistake and you said, 'Never mind, take care.' I made no mistake and you are becoming angry at me." Which means you are able to choose where should I become angry and where should I not become angry. So actually all of us are doing it. Is there anybody here who has ever shouted at their boss? My doubts. No matter how much the rage is blowing inside, you say, "Arey bhai, naukri chali jayegi." Just keep it inside. "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Yes. So you control the rage and then you go and vent it on your subordinate because he is a safe target. And the subordinate vents it on his subordinate, who doesn't have a subordinate. So he takes it and vents it on his wife. And the poor thing, she cannot answer back, she vents it on her child. And the child, he vents it on his dog. So the anger is always flowing down. Why is anger not flowing up? Because everybody has the ability to control it when they wish. Which means all of us choose our thoughts. Now when somebody relinquishes control, then what happens? Then they feel, "I am the victim." You know, JK Yoga has got 80 centers around the world. So there was one center, one volunteer had joined, one old lady. She was well intended, but she did not have a good EQ, emotional quotient. So she was always getting hurt about insignificant behaviors of others. And that hurt would build up into a grudge. And when I would come, she's, "Swamiji, you have given me seva to do, but this person doesn't behave, that person." And by chance, if I tried to defend anybody, then she would go into a terrible mood. "You always take their side, you never take my side." अब बोले तो भी problem, न बोले तो भी problem. But 1 year, all her grudges, they kind of crossed the limit. And she was bursting forth. So when I came, she was just waiting to vent out on me. Also soft target. Swamiji ko kuch bhi bol. So she said, "You know, this, that, this." I said, "Look, Devi ji, I agree that people were so bad to you. But tell me, why did you harbor negativity in yourself?" All of a sudden, she was silenced. She realized her folly. People can behave as they behave. If you harbor negativity, that is your choice. The Gita is not telling Arjun, "We will make the environment free from any disturbances." On the reverse, it is the most disturbed environment of the battleground. And Sri Krishna is telling Arjun, Sukhe dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayau. Look, Arjun, you have to be holy to the point that the externals don't affect you. You know, the story of Sundar Pichai is very famous. It went around the whole internet as the cockroach theory. He, Sundar Pichai, happened to be sitting in a restaurant, and on the nearby table there were 8 elderly people sitting, gents and ladies. The door of the restaurant was open, and one vermin, a cockroach, happened to fly in. So if it flies into your house in India, people say, "Arey bhai, aa gaya." But out here, I have seen people press the panic button. Oh, they're calling cockroach. So this cockroach went and landed on one lady's blouse. So all hell broke loose. She stood up and screamed as if the sky was falling down. That scared the cockroach also. So it took flight again. And this time it landed on one gentleman's forehead. Now it was his chance to scream and cry. So the cockroach again took flight. This halla gulla was happening. The waiter decided to check that what is the party going on. And when he made entry, the cockroach had taken off and it came and landed on the waiter's jacket. But the waiter held his peace. He allowed the cockroach to settle down. So, you know, when it settles down, it folds its legs. Then it's going to take little time even if it chooses to fly. So it settled down, and then he took his napkin and from behind he caught it, went and released it outside. Sundar Pichai was seeing this whole drama and started thinking that what disturbed the peace of these people. If it was the cockroach, then how come the cockroach did not disturb the peace of the waiter? And if it could not disturb the waiter's equipoise, then why did it disturb these people's mental state? He then decided that the cockroach only presented a provocation. How people handled it was their own ability. How you handle your mind. That is why Sri Krishna says, look Arjun, the uncontrolled mind will become your enemy. The controlled mind will be your best friend. My dear mind, give me inspiring thoughts. Yes. If it is the servant, it will be your best servant. If you make the mind your master, the mind will take you on a roller coaster. So, firstly, the thoughts are not under control. Secondly, is the victim mentality. That I am not responsible for my thoughts, they are happening to me, so they don't even try to control. The whole process has to begin when you take responsibility for your thoughts. Now, Western science will limit it to this life. Your thoughts are the results of this life's efforts, happenings, incidents. Our Vedic science says it's continuing from past lives, the sanskars. Nevertheless, Maharshi Patanjali says, don't bother about that. Wherever you are in this journey, you take responsibility. I am here today as a consequence of everything I did and thought in my endless lives. Now the question is, rather than analyzing, let me see how I can move ahead. So he is saying that when your mind is not controlled, you are unable to see yourself as the soul. You are mistaking yourself to be the body and definitely the mind. So this is a serious problem. And he will go into the depths of how this problem gets compounded, created through beliefs, defective knowledge. What is the solution? What is the process for cutting negative thinking from the root and replacing with positive thinking, etc. So it's a very fascinating knowledge that he's going to be sharing with us as we continue in our journey through the Yoga Sutras.